Hey guys, welcome to another episode here with Queen City Reefs and more. My name's Dennis, and this is Queen City Reefs. Alright guys, so if you haven't watched the previous two episodes on this three-part series of the Mega Matrix, I encourage you to do so. On the first part, I did discuss the fish that I have in here at this time. Second part was the corals. Today will be the equipment that I'm using as of today. So this is going to be the third and last part of this three-part video series. This doesn't mean that there's not going to be any more updates on the Mega Matrix. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking I'm going to go in depth into each of the either fish or corals that I have or equipment. This was more of just an overview of what I'm using, of what I have, you know, my thoughts and all that. I definitely don't want to make these videos longer than they need to be. We'll go ahead and get straight to it, guys, and we'll start. You know, I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'm gonna point the camera at the tank and start talking about what I'm using. So we will start with the lights. As you can see, I have a total of 6 Ecotech Radion XR15 G4 Pros, along with the hybrid fixture from Aquatic Life with T5 bulbs each. There's 2 fixtures. There wasn't one long enough for this tank. As most of you know, this tank is 8 feet long. Each of these fixtures is 48 inches. And I ended up just mounting them side by side. So I'm picking up the camera here because I do want to kind of give you a close-up look at what else I have. So we'll move on next now to the wave pumps, and here you'll notice that I actually have 2 wave pumps from Neptune on the left side, and I actually have 2 more on the other side, and then I have 2 of the Nero 5 right smack in the middle, pointing to the opposite direction. I continue to move these pumps around because even though yes, I do have enough surface agitation, if you can see, I don't feel like I have enough of it. I'm also actually using an Eheim auto feeder with the feeding station. I'd rather have these here the way that they are, because if you don't use one of these, then I feel that all these pellets end up floating mostly to the top and end up going right down into the overflow. So to me, this has worked wonders, and I can actually show you how it works. So it feeds 3 times a day. So not that many pellets all at once. For these fish, I do use the 1 to 2 millimeter pellets. 99% of these fish in here go for it, with the exception of the mystery wrasse. I don't think it's a matter of it not, you know, going for them, but I'm pretty sure that it does not like the taste of them since they're veggie based for these tanks. One other piece of equipment that I use here, I don't know if you would consider this equipment or not, that is this flipper magnifier. I like to use this just to keep a closer eye on my SPS. I know from the camera, I don't know if you can see much difference. There's the green slimer right there, and it looks a bit bigger there, huh? I use these veggie clips with the magnet for the seaweed that I feed the fish as well. I feed them once every other day, about 1.5 sheets. Alright, so we're gonna move down under. So here we are under the tank, and I need to dispose of that. But we'll start with the Trident. As you know, I've been gloating about this Trident here. I love it. It's kept my parameters in check. Stable, which is what I think it's most important. Aside from that, I mean, those that know how this works, then you know how it works. I can tell you that I think this is what has made me successful, because I've been able to make sure to keep these parameters very stable. Another piece of equipment that I use from Neptune is the ATK, which is the automatic top-off kit. I could tell you that I had some issues with it initially, where it wasn't detecting that the water level was low and it wasn't filling up as it needed, and you know, it just, after messing with it and eventually ended up doing a hard reset on it, I was able to get it to work and hasn't missed a beat since, but I do keep an eye on it. For my return pump, I do use a Vectra L1 for my light, and so you'll see a little things here and there that I've had to do in order to get me by for now, and those things are for these cups, these measuring cups. I tried to get around to tying this area here, because as you can see, it kind of slants down because of how this hose is pulling it down. So I do plan on getting around to tying this up to the top part of this cabinet, because I tried doing it with this. I tried doing it with this clamp here, but it just wasn't close enough to the deal, and because of this, I should have probably had extended this more so that I could maybe have had some of the white piping up to here, so I could have used that. But because this is on the way, then it's actually now almost impossible to do. I've tried, believe me, I tried. So for now, I just put that cup there so that it can hold the weight of it. Here you'll see that for my refugium light, I'm using the Apex Grow light, which I can tell you, I used to use one that I feel was way too powerful and kept killing my chaeto. It kept going white. Ever since I switched it to this, the chaeto in here has been growing like crazy. See, this is why I probably have to come in and check this more often, but I think I know why it caused that. I turned off the pump to add bacteria to the tank earlier today and forgot to turn it back on after over an hour, and so the skimmer turned on, and most likely because the water was elevated, then it caused this. But so this is the Reef Octopus Regal 250 internal with an external pump. Internal because it goes inside the sump. I almost went with the 300, but I'm very glad I went with this 250 because it fit perfectly in here. I could tell you, if you watch any of my previous videos, you would know that I was debating whether going with something more price friendly versus the Royal Exclusive that I was debating on getting. I could tell you that I am super happy with the Skimmer. I could tell you that I am glad. I probably wouldn't have known, right? Because once you buy something, you'll end up keeping it, and I'm pretty sure I would have been super happy with the Royal Exclusive as well. But I'm glad I went with this cheaper one, because I see that at the end of the day, they do the job. As you can see, there's about that much of skim, half the cup, so I'm gonna actually clean it after this video. It's full of gunk already, and how much better do we want something to work, right? I know that it's supposed to be better quality, better acrylic, better pump, titanium screws, blah 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 blah. But if I know me, and you know yourself, I know that after maybe 5 years or more, I'll eventually want something new, right? We'll want to change things in here for whatever reason or another. And so I figured, you know what, let me get this one up. It'll be new to me. I'm very happy with it, and now, you know, I love it, and I wouldn't change it for anything right now, unless I got something free, right? I'm using this Tideline sump that came with Planet Aquariums. They're actually trigger system sumps, but they're specially made. They work with Planet Aquariums. I have nothing negative to say. I have enough room for the skimmer, enough room for my refugium, a real huge area for the refugium. And it comes with 4 7-inch socks, but I actually use the cups instead, and I put polyfilter in there. I'm only using 2 of the returns in here, and the other 2, one I'm using to put water back from the UV sterilizer. As you can see, the other equipment I'm using is I'm monitoring the flow that goes into my UV sterilizer. That's because I want to make sure that the correct flow is going through it for parasites. That is what I control the flow with right there, that gate valve there, just so that I can make sure that I get the correct flow. And so far so good. On this side I have nothing but a rat's nest. As you can see, you'll see the CO2 scrubber that I've featured on my other videos. If you want to hear more about it, definitely go check those videos out. And I have this space here. Eventually I'll clean this up and possibly put a calcium reactor in this area. Now, one thing I do want to say is I feel that I went too big with the sump system. And hear me out, I know you're probably thinking, what? You know, you always want to go as big as you can, and it seems like it's working, and it is. But I wish I would have gone maybe 1 foot or 2 feet less on this, because I don't have any space. As you can see, it's all the way, you know, it's all the way to the other end, and I only have about 1.5 to 2 feet space in here. And if I wish that maybe if I would have cut it off right here, I'd have all this space here to eventually work with, to make this area cleaner outside, so that I could just put more things, you know, down there. And that's pretty much all the equipment, guys. Oh, I guess you would want to see my control board, right? So we'll start off with the cowboy sign right here. I'm using a Jabao, whatever you call it, doser. You'll see my screen here for my Trident and Apex system. I'm dosing alkalinity, calcium, and acro power. And I do have some major cleaning to do here, but I'm not in any hurry. And that will do it, guys. That will do it.